Welcome to the Logic Room, where every mental habit tells a story and every cognitive bias holds a whisper from our evolutionary past. You're standing in your kitchen on a Tuesday morning, coffee in hand, scrolling through your phone. A friend just posted photos from their European vacation again. Your colleague got another promotion. Your neighbor bought a Tesla, and somewhere in your chest you feel that familiar tug, that quiet voice whispering, "When will it be my turn?" You've felt this before. That restless hunger that follows you through every achievement, every milestone, every moment that should feel like victory, but somehow tastes like emptiness. You remember the last time you got what you wanted, that raise, that relationship, that perfect apartment. The euphoria was real, electric even. For weeks, maybe months, you walked taller. You smiled more. You felt like you'd finally cracked the code of happiness. But then, almost imperceptibly, the glow began to fade. What once felt extraordinary became ordinary. What once thrilled you became routine. And that familiar restlessness crept back in, pointing toward the next thing, the next level, the next fix. Ever wonder what it truly feels like to see the invisible architecture of your own thoughts as they transform triumph into tedium? This isn't a character flaw. It's not weakness or ingratitude. It's one of the most profound and universal patterns of human consciousness, a psychological phenomenon so predictable that researchers can map its timeline, measure its intensity, and predict its outcome with startling accuracy. Your brain is running an ancient program, one that kept your ancestors alive, but now keeps you perpetually unsatisfied in a world of unprecedented abundance. You're about to discover why that promotion didn't change everything, why your dream vacation felt ordinary by the flight home, and why the human pursuit of happiness might be fundamentally misunderstanding how happiness actually works. This is the story of Hedonic Adaptation, the psychological treadmill that keeps you running toward a finish line that moves with every step you take. Your brain doesn't experience reality, it experiences change. Right now, as you read these words, millions of sensory inputs flood your nervous system, but your conscious awareness only captures the novel, the unexpected, the different. The soft pressure of your clothes against your skin disappears from your attention within minutes of getting dressed. The hum of the air conditioner fades into background silence. Your morning coffee stops tasting like anything special by the third sip. This isn't negligence, it's efficiency. Deep in your neural architecture, an ancient adaptation engine runs continuously, recalibrating your baseline experience to match your current circumstances. When something new enters your life, a pay increase, a new relationship, a beautiful home, your brain initially responds with heightened activity in the reward circuits. Dopamine surges, pleasure pathways light up, you feel genuinely happier. But within days, sometimes hours, something remarkable happens. Your neural networks begin to adapt. The same neural pathways that once fired with excitement for your new car now require something more, a newer model, better features, higher status, to generate the same level of activation. Your baseline shifts upward to accommodate your new reality, and what once felt like luxury becomes the new normal. This isn't conscious, it happens beneath the threshold of your awareness, as automatic as breathing. Imagine your happiness system as a thermostat. Set it to 72 degrees, and it works tirelessly to maintain that temperature. Blast it with hot air, and it compensates by cooling things down. Chill the room, and it responds with warmth. Your emotional thermostat operates with the same relentless precision, constantly adjusting to maintain a surprisingly stable set point of life satisfaction, regardless of external conditions. This adaptation mechanism served your ancestors brilliantly. In environments where survival depended on constant vigilance, where yesterday's abundance could become tomorrow's scarcity, a brain that never fully relaxed into contentment was a brain that stayed alive. The restless hunter who remained motivated after a successful kill would hunt again tomorrow. The gatherer who felt no lasting satisfaction from a full belly would continue seeking new food sources. But in your modern life, where basic needs are consistently met and opportunities for advancement appear endless, this same system creates a peculiar form of psychological imprisonment. You find yourself trapped on what researchers quietly call the hedonic treadmill, running faster and faster toward goals that provide less and less lasting satisfaction with each achievement. Your reward system operates on a principle that would make any economist weep. It doesn't care what you have, only what you expected to have. Right now, somewhere in your midbrain, clusters of dopamine neurons are firing not in response to pleasure itself, but to the gap between what you predicted would happen and what actually occurs. This is your brain's prediction error system, and it's been quietly sabotaging your satisfaction for your entire life. Picture this. You're expecting a modest bonus at work. Your brain sets its prediction algorithms accordingly, calibrating for a specific level of reward. When your boss hands you a check for twice that amount, your dopamine system explodes with activity not because the money itself is inherently wonderful, but because reality exceeded prediction. The surprise, the unexpected upgrade, the pleasant shock of surpassing expectations. This is what generates that rush of pure satisfaction. But here's where the system reveals its cruel elegance. Within weeks of receiving that larger bonus, your brain recalibrates. The new amount becomes your expected baseline. Next year, receiving the same generous bonus generates barely a flicker of dopamine activity. Your prediction system has adapted upward, and what once felt like a windfall now feels disappointingly ordinary. You need an even larger surprise to recreate that same emotional high. This prediction error machinery runs constantly, evaluating every experience against your brain's evolving expectations. Your first apartment felt palatial because you expected dorm room conditions. Your current home, objectively superior in every way, might feel cramped because your expectations have expanded to match your circumstances. The same space, the same amenities, the same comfort, but processed through a completely different predictive framework. Watch this phenomenon unfold in your daily life. The restaurant that thrilled you last month becomes routine by the 5th visit. The streaming service that amazed you with its selection now frustrates you with its limitations. The relationship that felt perfect during the honeymoon phase now reveals ordinary human flaws that your recalibrated expectations can no longer overlook. Your ancestors used this system to stay motivated in environments where good enough could mean death. A hunter whose brain celebrated finding water would stop looking for better sources. A gatherer satisfied with today's berries might miss tomorrow's more nutritious options. The restless dissatisfaction generated by constantly shifting expectations kept them searching, striving, surviving. But your modern brain applies this ancient logic to a world of artificial abundance, creating a psychological situation that would be comedic if it weren't so universally frustrating. Your modern environment has become a carefully engineered exploitation of your adaptation patterns. Every screen you look at, every advertisement you encounter, every social platform you scroll through, they've all been designed by teams of psychologists and data scientists who understand your hedonic adaptation better than you do. And they're using that knowledge to keep you perpetually unsatisfied. Social media platforms have transformed your natural comparison instincts into a 24/7 dissatisfaction engine. Your ancestors compared themselves to maybe 150 people in their entire tribe, friends, family, neighbors, whose actual lives they witnessed firsthand. You now compare your internal experience to the carefully curated highlight reels of thousands of people, most of whom you've never met. Your brain processes these comparisons using the same ancient algorithms, but the dataset has expanded infinitely, ensuring that no matter what you achieve, someone in your feed appears to be doing better. The algorithm knows exactly how to time these comparisons for maximum emotional impact. Just posted about your promotion? Here's someone who started their own company. Feeling good about your vacation photos? Here's an influencer in Bali living their best life. Your adaptation system, designed to help you gauge your relative status within a small, stable community, becomes a source of constant psychological turbulence in this infinite social comparison matrix. Consumer culture operates with surgical precision on your hedonic patterns. Marketing teams conduct focus groups specifically to identify the moment when satisfaction begins to fade, what they call the wear-out period, and then engineer product cycles to introduce new features, models, or versions, just as your adaptation kicks in. Your phone, your car, your wardrobe, your home decor. Entire industries exist to capture the brief window between desire and adaptation, then restart the cycle with the next upgrade. Even your career ladder exploits these patterns. Corporate structures create artificial scarcity and incremental advancement that keeps you chasing the next level long after the previous promotion lost its emotional impact. The corner office that once represented ultimate success becomes just another workspace. The salary that felt like financial freedom becomes the baseline for new anxieties about the next raise, the next bonus, the next recognition. Dating apps gamify romantic connection using variable reward schedules that keep your dopamine prediction error system perpetually engaged. Each swipe might be the one. Each match might be different. Each conversation might lead somewhere special. But the vast abundance of options ensures that whoever you're with could theoretically be upgraded, preventing the deep satisfaction that comes from committed investment in a single relationship. Researchers have discovered something that would sound impossible if it weren't so meticulously documented. Your happiness level appears to have a gravitational pull. No matter what life throws at you, windfall or tragedy, promotion or layoff, marriage or divorce, you tend to return to a remarkably stable emotional baseline within 18 to 24 months. This is your hedonic set point, and it operates with the consistency of a physical law. The most startling evidence comes from studies of extreme life changes. Lottery winners, tracked over multiple years, show initial spikes in reported happiness that gradually fade until their satisfaction levels become statistically indistinguishable from people who never won anything. Meanwhile, individuals who experience severe accidents resulting in paralysis show the opposite pattern, an initial drop in happiness that slowly recovers until they report life satisfaction levels nearly identical to their pre-accident baseline. Your brain achieves this stability through a sophisticated network of psychological and physiological adjustments. When positive events occur, your adaptation mechanisms gradually dial down your emotional responsiveness while simultaneously raising your expectations for future experiences. When negative events strike, a different set of systems kicks in. Attention shifts toward available sources of meaning and connection. Social support networks activate, and your brain literally rewires itself to find satisfaction in smaller, more accessible pleasures. This set point theory reveals why chasing external circumstances as a path to lasting happiness feels like trying to lift yourself by pulling on your own shoelaces. Your emotional thermostat will simply adjust to whatever new normal you create, returning you to your baseline level of satisfaction with mechanical precision. The promotion you thought would change everything becomes just another day at the office. The relationship you believed would complete you becomes another source of ordinary human frustration and joy. But here's what makes this phenomenon both frustrating and fascinating. Your set point isn't completely fixed. Research suggests that roughly 50% of your happiness baseline is determined by genetics, the emotional temperament you inherited from your ancestors. Another 10% comes from life circumstances, your income, marital status, where you live, your health. That leaves 40% under your direct influence, controlled by your daily choices, habits, and mental practices. This 40% represents your zone of genuine agency, the space where your conscious decisions can actually shift your emotional baseline over time. It's not the dramatic Hollywood-style transformation you might have imagined, but rather a subtle, sustainable upgrade in your default level of life satisfaction, one that hedonic adaptation cannot easily erode because it works with your brain's natural patterns rather than against them. The antidote to hedonic adaptation lives in a practice so simple it sounds almost insulting. Gratitude, but not the shallow, Instagram-worthy version you've encountered in self-help culture. True gratitude is a precise psychological intervention that interrupts your brain's adaptation mechanisms at their most vulnerable point, the moment when abundance becomes invisible. Your attention system operates like a spotlight with a notoriously narrow beam. Right now, it's focused on these words while ignoring the countless other elements of your immediate experience. The air flowing into your lungs, the temperature against your skin, the remarkable fact that your heart has been beating without conscious effort since before you were born. This selective attention, while essential for survival, creates a perceptual blind spot where your brain stops registering the positive elements of your current circumstances. Gratitude practice works by deliberately redirecting this spotlight toward elements of your life that adaptation has rendered invisible. When you consciously notice your morning coffee's warmth, your friend's text message, the fact that clean water flows from your tap, you're essentially hacking your prediction error system. You're training your brain to register these experiences as pleasant surprises rather than mundane background noise. The key lies in specificity and novelty. Your brain adapts to general appreciations. I'm grateful for my family, within days, but struggles to adapt to detailed rotating observations. I'm grateful for the way my daughter's eyes light up when she discovers something new, and how that light reminds me what genuine curiosity looks like. By varying the focus of your attention, you prevent your gratitude practice from becoming another routine that adaptation can neutralize. Neuroscience reveals why this works at the cellular level. Regular gratitude practice increases activity in the prefrontal cortex while strengthening neural pathways associated with positive emotion regulation. More importantly, it appears to slow down your brain's adaptation speed, extending the duration of positive experiences before they fade into background normalcy. You're not generating artificial happiness, you're recovering access to satisfaction that was already present, but hidden by your brain's efficiency filters. The most effective approach involves what researchers call gratitude savoring, spending 30 to 60 seconds fully experiencing something you appreciate, rather than simply listing things you're thankful for. This extended attention prevents your brain from filing the experience away as processed and moving on to the next stimulus. You're teaching your adaptation system to slow down, to linger, to fully register positive experiences before they become ordinary. Ancient philosophers stumbled upon something your modern psychology textbooks are only now beginning to understand. The secret to sustainable happiness isn't getting more, it's wanting less. The Stoics called it preferred indifference. Buddhists named it non-attachment. Taoists spoke of wu-wei. Different languages, different cultures, same profound insight into the mechanics of human satisfaction. These wisdom traditions recognized what your brain's adaptation system reveals through scientific measurement. External circumstances have remarkably little influence on your baseline contentment. Marcus Aurelius, writing in his private journal while commanding the Roman Empire, noted that happiness depends not on what you have, but on how you frame what you have. He was describing hedonic adaptation 2,000 years before researchers had a name for it. The concept of enough becomes revolutionary when you understand how your prediction error system operates. Instead of allowing your expectations to inflate automatically with each new acquisition, you can consciously maintain what economists call preference stability. This isn't about settling for mediocrity or abandoning ambition. It's about recognizing when you've reached a level of material comfort that allows you to redirect your goal-seeking energy toward experiences that don't adapt away. Research confirms what contemplatives have always known. Relationships, personal growth, creative expression, and service to others resist hedonic adaptation far better than material acquisitions. Your brain struggles to adapt to the complexity and novelty inherent in human connection, artistic creation, or meaningful work. A conversation with a friend offers infinite variations. Learning a new skill provides constantly shifting challenges. Helping someone creates unpredictable moments of connection and purpose. You can work with your adaptation patterns rather than against them by choosing goals that naturally refresh themselves. Instead of pursuing a bigger house that will feel ordinary within months, pursue deeper friendships that offer new discoveries for decades. Instead of chasing status symbols that lose their emotional impact through familiarity, chase competencies that generate fresh satisfactions with each new level of mastery. This is the cognitive upgrade that transforms hedonic adaptation from your enemy into your ally. You begin to see your brain's tendency toward baseline adjustment not as a cruel joke, but as an invitation to focus your limited attention on what genuinely matters. The restless energy that once drove you toward endless material accumulation redirects toward experiences that compound rather than fade. You step off the hedonic treadmill not by stopping all movement, but by changing direction entirely. Instead of running toward a finish line that retreats with every step, you walk deeper into a present moment that contains more richness than your adaptation-focused mind ever allowed you to notice. Here, in the space between wanting and having, you discover that contentment was never something to achieve. It was always something to uncover, always something to return to, always something that had been waiting patiently for your attention to find its way home. The journey inward reveals what the chase outward never could. You already have what you've been seeking. Your brain's ancient programming whispers otherwise. But now you know its language. Now you understand its purpose. And now, perhaps, you can finally hear the quiet satisfaction that lives beneath the noise.